Hey, Kris, how you doing?
Hey, John. Real quick.
Oh,
I see those solid states sitting on the table. Does one of those happen to be plugged in?
yeah.
Okay.
Not one of these, but another one.
Okay. All right. Just checking before we get going.
It doesn't give me a green light if I don't plug it in.
Fair enough.
So now it's red because we're recording.
I know we've had some issues with the internal.
It's happened once or twice or 5 times.
Yeah. All right.
Not even on this show. Like, it hasn't happened to us as much as it's happened to me on others.
On others, yes.
Oh, man.
True.
The struggle is real, guys.
Yes.
Living with ADD is not a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you go, I think I lost the entire show.
I'm pretty sure we weren't recording. It stopped recording.
Yes.
That's fun. That's a good one because you're not looking at that light the entire time.
No, you're not.
I put it out of the way, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad.
Yes.
Anyways,
it's good to be back.
Good to be back. Always good to hang out and talk and
yes,
get some brewskis.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of
tonight,
what are we drinking? There's a bottle opener behind you too.
I won't need it tonight. You're not going to need it tonight. No bottle openers needed tonight.
No, that's a big boy.
This is exactly why I said tonight. Yeah. We slay giants.
We slay giants.
We are having from local True Vine, Giant Slayer. It's a good one. Yes, it is.
I was like, you've had this before, right?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, Giant Slayer's been on their menu for a while.
Yes.
Now,
when they have it in the nitro, it's even better.
I'm sorry?
The very first time I had this,
yeah,
they offered it in a nitro.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that they'd done that.
I haven't seen it since.
Oh, okay. It was just that one time.
Yeah, Michelle and I went one time with Jacob and his wife Laura.
Okay.
To True Vine, and it was on there. I'm like, nitro, take my money.
What happened? Where'd all my money go?
Yes, but it was so good going down.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah, I love this one. It's really good.
Okay. And you bought a growler.
Well, yeah.
Nobody can see us. That's why I'm saying that.
That's okay.
We're excited. There's a like pitcher of beer here.
So we spent our $10 buy-in to get the growler.
Nice.
So going back, all we pay for is the beer.
Nice.
Yes. So $33. $10 is the bottle.
Nice.
And whatever we want to do again in the future, we'll go fill it up and it'd be about $23.
And that's how many fluid ounces?
64 ounces. I can sit here and just drink from the jug.
Put it on your pinky.
All right. Now, she did put some electrical tape around.
Yeah, I see that. That's not joking around. You're lucky it's not wax.
Oh, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
So this is their
electrical tape. Basically, is wax, though, right? It's like some sort of. It's a plastic.
And when you don't have fingernails, it doesn't help.
Are you telling me you don't have fingernails?
No, I have a nasty habit of biting my fingernails off.
No,
get nervous and stressed, and
pretty sure
next thing I know, I'm chomping, and it's like that's not a healthy thing to do.
Kris Kincaid would be the last person on earth I would expect to have fingernails. Just saying, and not because I think he's nervous. I just not a thing.
All right. Oh, I should have put that in front of the mic.
Yeah, that was nice.
I wasn't expecting that.
I could hear that through the headphones.
I heard a little bit. Here, I'll let you pour for yourself.
Oh, come on.
Now, it is 10%.
And it is very much all the way at the top. So
yeah, they don't play around.
We're not going to spill this. I'm trying
try not to. That looks good.
There's a little drop coming down the side, so
that's okay. All right.
Oh, I just licked the mug. That's worth it. Okay, well,
right about there's good.
It is black.
Oh, yes, it is. I love it. Love a good stout.
Good job. Okay, cheers with our big mugs.
Yep. least it didn't break.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Like, and beer I'll be everywhere. Up here the rest of the night cleaning up.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
I was actually at Fresh. This is a callback to last episode, which not a lot of people listened to.
No, it was bad.
Don't know what happened.
It was a bloodbath.
But I was at Fresh today, actually, and saw the... was it the porter that we were talking about that Founders makes?
Yes.
The one that was like coffee and chocolate or whatever.
Yes, that is a very good one.
Yeah, it was there. And I was like, if I wasn't in such a hurry. Anyway.
Well, I tried a new one and it didn't go so well.
Oh yeah? What'd you try?
Well, we've had the left-hand stout.
Okay.
And we've had Jason had the nitro version on that show.
Okay.
So they're milk stouts. They're great.
Yeah.
They make a peanut butter milk stout. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, just take my money already.
Yeah.
And then I tried it and it was bad.
I got to tell you, like, I like peanut butter, but when I see peanut butter stout on a beer, I'm not like super sure I'm going to like that.
I was going in, maybe I went in with too much
zeal,
expectation.
Man, that is good. Not the peanut butter stout.
Oh, they don't have a blurb.
The Giant Slayer is delicious.
They have no blurb. Sorry, folks.
Here's what I would say. Come to Tyler.
Yes, go to True Vine.
Go to True Vine. Whatever kind of beer you like, they're going to have something good there.
Absolutely. So I was going back and forth between this and Sanctimonium.
Sanctimonium, I think has usually wins out for me. But this is really good.
It is.
This is one of those, like, same exact recipe. I'm sure they're not doing a whole lot different.
Yep.
But for some reason, this is like really good tonight. So
it's because it was poured from a growler.
That probably did
Changes
it right
everything.
there.
So sorry, folks, no blurbs.
That's weird.
True Vine makes some good beer, though.
They do. If you're ever in East Texas, go find them on Earl Campbell Parkway.
Yeah, support your local brewing company.
Support your local brewing company wherever they are. Just saying. Yes. True Vine's one of those ones, though, that started out pretty small and has become a much bigger deal. It's almost like they're part of building a community over there in West Tyler. So I'm the guys who run it, and
that's their thing.
Love, integrity, and community.
Yes.
Oh, that's a TV. Okay. I like the old logo better, but love, integrity, and community is great.
Yep.
The owners are Ryan and Tracy Dixon, and they're great. Yep. And they got like a whole, like, it used to be just them out there, and now there's all these stores, and there's a church, and there's there's this place called Apple Gals or Apple Gal or something like that.
Yes.
My wife loves it. They do like caramel covered apples, but like all these different kinds of
variations
covered
of
apples and stuff, and it's delicious.
Lemon yellow has amazing desserts.
Yeah, lemon yellow has amazing desserts. There's a little coffee place over there too. Likewise, is that the coffee place?
Yes, likewise.
Yep. Anyway, and they're about to get a Chick-fil-A like across the street. So
they are
not across Earl Campbell, but across
pretty
the
darn
loop.
Close.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, great beer, and they usually have like live music out there too and stuff like that. But,
and good pizza with Solo.
Yeah. The Giant Slayer, though, I knew I was going to like it. Didn't know I was going to like it. I hoped I was going to like it when I first got it because Giant Slayer, I think they're referencing King David. I don't know that that's true, but David and Goliath.
Sounds good.
But did you see that Prime has a King David.
The TV show. Yeah. I've heard about it. I haven't watched it yet.
I've watched one episode so far.
I was curious if they could keep it even remotely accurate. Because they can't do Lord of the Rings.
No, they can't, and it is not. Okay, so what I would say is that it's not quite as good as like Chosen. Okay. In terms of like, I think how much effort has been put in for that specific purpose.
Okay.
But I mean, there are straight up, like there's a first episode, there's the confrontation with Samuel and Saul, and you know, there's some theatrics involved, but
sure.
It also like that's exactly what the Bible says happened. With some of the things that he said, he gave him the whole like, you know, God has torn the kingdom from you. Mm-hmm. Saul grabs onto his robe and it tears. And anyway, there's like things that I was like, that's exactly that.
Yep.
But you know,
well, I know they've got to do a little embellishing to take it and turn it into a show.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's where they get completely off the rails. So if you can at least keep the core correct, then I can give you some of those added liberties that you need to do to stretch.
And we'll see, like they've got, at least in the way that it looks like, they've got Jonathan being portrayed quite a bit older than David. And I don't know if it's because their relationship is so close. I just always pictured them as being basically the same age.
Yep.
And I mean, there's not anywhere I think that says that. So, Jonathan was fighting battles when David was, you know, tending sheep, and was surprising to come in and try to fight a battle. So, it's probably a good chance that Jonathan was actually like an older brother to David.
Yeah.
But I just never would have thought of it that way because they're so close. And I don't know that it has to be that way, but, and then, the other part of it, is I actually have had a suspicion for a while, based on some of, what David says in the Psalms. And then also the fact that, Jesse doesn't call him in as one of his sons from the field whenever Samuel's there to anoint one of his sons. That David may have been born out of wedlock.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Possible. It's just one of those, like, I don't know. Maybe that's the case and maybe it's not. It's never, I think, said for sure. But regardless, like there's a reference to it in this, which at least makes me think that these people have read the Bible a lot.
Sure.
So we'll see. That's not really what this podcast is for, but it did make me think of it with Giant Slayer.
Okay.
We're going to talk about some security stuff. Well, security is one way of looking at it.
Sure. Another way of looking at it is MDM.
MDM,
mobile device management.
But I guess what I was referring to is why do we even have MDM?
Well,
why is that a thing?
When I need to break up that voice. When I was a young whippersnapper.
I thought you were going to say when one corporation falls in love with one device manufacturer.
Yeah.
They get together and they have devices that are theirs.
Yeah, there you go. No, for me, it's more like, well, you see, when I was a young man, we didn't have MDM.
No.
At best, we had Active Directory.
Okay, this is good because I don't think I thought of it from that side of things. Okay, so
you go far enough back.
Active Directory. I mean, most of the time, I think nowadays you're just talking about, hey, this is how we distribute a login.
Correct.
Or whatever. But most people don't even really know what they're logging into their computer.
Correct. Yeah,
they're not really thinking about anything else that is providing.
It's kind of what it's been watered down to is Active Directory is nothing more than, that's my user and I log in and occasionally I change my password.
Yeah.
They don't think they
I get yelled at all the time by people that are like, I don't want to change my password again. I'm like, I don't care.
Got to
change your password.
Change your password, please. So yeah, I mean, they don't get the concept of group policy and how powerful group policy actually is. Now, we're talking Windows here. We're not necessarily talking Mac. There are some third-party applications that you can put on a Mac to extend some features of Active Directory to a Mac.
Right.
But generally speaking, we're talking Windows. We're talking nerdy talk of, like I'm going to take away your ability to get into the control panel, or I'm going to only let you touch certain pieces in the control panel, or you're not going to be able to modify your start menu, or however I want to lock your machine down.
Right.
I can lock it down.
All right, big bad IT guy. Why would you want to lock down somebody's technology?
There's a polite way to say this. I'm trying to change the wording in
that is such an authoritarian. What do we get in trouble for being?
We're talking about the good old days of IT when
you are a fascist. You are a technology fascist.
I'm a techno fascist.
Techno fascist who doesn't like people.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
go ahead.
It's all about protecting the device and the corporate data from intentional or even unintentional misuse of a device.
That's what a fascist would say.
Exactly.
The rest of us know you just want to control thought. Kris.
Thought police.
You are the thought police.
Yes.
And you don't like people being able to access solitaire.
Well, if you work in the actual corporate world and you have to deal with HIPAA or PCI or Sarbanes-Oxley and on and on
I'm sorry,
on.
That last one sounded like something that you made up.
No, these are government regulations that certain businesses have to adhere to.
I agree with the others. So right there next to OSHA, but
yes. If you're
Sarbanes-Oxley,
if you're stuck having to maintain these,
Sarah Beth Oakley.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure you made that one up.
No. Hang on.
That's going to show up in the show notes now.
Yes. Sarbanes-Oxley. There we go. What year? 2002. So not too far back.
Are you kidding me?
No. 2002.
Kris, that's
Sarbanes-Oxley.
23 years ago. That's a while back.
No. If this had been like from the 70s and 80s, okay. So this has Sarbanes-Oxley gets into financial record keeping and reporting for corporations.
Oh, okay.
So if you've got to get into any of this, unfortunately, you have to have control. You have to know who's accessing what, when they're accessing it. You're recording all of this. You can't do certain things with this device. This is not your personal device. This is your company's device that they're giving you to do your job.
Yeah, I'm going to say that most people don't realize that they shouldn't be playing their music in a public setting.
Correct.
Like most people don't understand the laws around intellectual property of any kind. So like the corporate understanding of intellectual property and what you actually own and what you don't own because you've sold it to the company that you work for the salary that you make.
Yeah. Well, a good example on the music actually comes with Jason's dad, who was playing music in his restaurant.
Yeah.
And one of those wonderful people that goes door to door looking for violators walks in and heard the music, and they were like,
"Hey, you got this music?
Are you licensed for this? How'd you get this?" And he goes, "Oh, it's on a CD that we sell in the gift shop." And the guy had to leave because he knew I can't touch that. Whereas if it had just been them just randomly playing music, You don't have a license?
Off somebody's phone.
Oh, hey, we have a problem now.
But I'd pay Apple Music.
That's for you personally.
Ooh. What do you mean, Kris?
That's not for your customers.
No, I don't.
It does technically, I guess, under the whole Apple family piece that you could, in theory, extend it to members of your household.
Yeah. No, we do that all the time.
Beyond that, not so much.
It's weird. If any of you are scratching your head, like there really is, there's a lot. And, you know, maybe this is not as blind to most people as I think it is, but I really do, like most of the people that I know are just flabbergasted when I'm like, no, we can't play that music.
Can't do that.
And they're like, why not? And I'm like, because we're not licensed to play that music.
Correct.
We're only licensed to play music during certain times.
Correct.
Because that's what our license says. Because I've read the EULA.
The EULA.
Have you read the EULA?
I will give you a copy of it if you would like to read it.
No, it was funny. I saw a thing the other day that was why is Generation X so angry all the time? It's because we bought records, and then we bought tapes, and then we bought CDs, and now we have to pay somebody money to stream music that's not ours.
Correct.
And it's like, no, that is exactly right. Gone through all of the like iterations here and bought all of this music multiple times.
Same thing on movies. We bought the beta, we bought the VHS, we bought the DVD.
Yeah, we didn't buy any beta.
We had beta in my house.
No, we didn't do that.
Beta was the superior product. Unfortunately, it didn't win.
I'm just saying, I don't know if it was just where we were, but we didn't have any beta that I'm aware of. Maybe they had it before I was born.
No, we had a beta player, and we had bought some movies in beta. And one of the things that always bit me is because beta was losing, I wanted to see. And this goes way back. This is before we ever came to Texas. So I'd have to look up the date of it. But they did the movie that brought together He-Man and She-Ra.
Okay.
So this is how far back we're going now in the 80s.
I have the power.
Exactly. I wanted to see this, but it didn't exist on beta. So every time we would go to the video store, I would always go look, do they have the blue tag, which is for beta in front of it? They never had a blue tag. Didn't get to see it.
You say video store.
Yes.
What was it?
It was Evans Video.
Evans Video.
Way back a long time ago when I lived in, get this, Evansville. What an original name for your company.
So what I remember was that we would go to Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And if we were not living high on the hog, we would go to Tom Thumb. And Tom Thumb had some videos that you could rent from them.
Really?
Yeah. Back in the day.
I don't remember ever seeing any in a grocery store.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like we had a pretty swanky Tom Thumb, evidently.
Sounds like it.
But yeah, I remember there being, and they were cheaper. That was the point, is that it was cheaper to rent from them. I think it may have been like a shorter rental. Instead of 5 days, it may have been like 2 days, or 3 days. It may have been 1 day. I don't remember. But that was a thing. And they didn't have the cool like Blockbuster black case with the insert that was white and blue. It was just clear. It looked like something you'd get at the library, the public library.
There you go. Yeah. Wow. Getting just videos.
Reminiscing about all of this stuff, because now what we have is all of this information, whether it be personal information that needs to be protected, whether it be corporate information that needs to be protected. There's a lot of things that are being handed off over and over and over again.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't even talk about PCI.
No.
So like there's all kinds of things like that just it requires regulation.
Yes.
And that's why what I mean with the security side of this is there's so much that it's regulated. It's trying to be secure. Because in all of the things that we've talked about in terms of, network and data transfers and how, information is being moved from this point to that point, like I don't think we've talked that much about like encryption or any kind of security involved with these things other than, firewall and different parts like that would have security involved with them. But MDM, in my understanding, is the new carrot and stick.
Sure.
For IT.
Well, yeah, and the beauty of MDM is that it's cross-platform now.
Yes.
Like we talked about Active Directory. It's great if you had Windows, but as soon as you put a Mac, you put a Linux device in there, you put a Unix device in there,
yeah,
game over. Now you got to go
Thanks for messing everything up.
For a whole nother system. So it is nice that I could get an MDM platform,
yeah,
and it doesn't matter what devices I'm using. I can do Windows, I can do Mac, I can do iPad OS, I can do iOS, I can do Android, I can bring in Chromebook.
And that's what's really, like, I think blown some of our people's minds over the years has been the understanding that, like, I think when I was at Pine Cove, there was the transition from all Windows into some Mac, and then it was becoming more and more Mac and everything like that. So we were Active Directory. And again, a lot of what the login, and we got to figure out how to do this and stuff like that. When it was mobile devices, that's when it became like mobile devices, not BYOD, because we talked about that for a while, but bring your own device is an option. But when we're talking about, okay, we need to make sure that the devices that we own are secure.
Yes.
That's when MDM became a big deal.
Yep.
And we started back in that day with a product called AirWatch.
Yep, I remember that.
Oh, that was like, I feel like I just pulled out a tooth or something. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Just out of the back of my brain. Because I don't think I could have remembered that if you asked me what the name of it was.
I think somewhere along the way, they ultimately got consolidated into VMware.
Yeah, VMware, I think, bought their stuff. But that's the one that we chose of the ones that were available at the time. And the idea was we need to be able to provision 10 iPads at a time.
Yep.
And we need to be able to help people who are not local anymore.
Correct.
Or in our office or town or anything like that.
Yep.
How do we do all this? Because at the beginning, again, I don't know how many of y'all actually were using tablets when they first became, prosumer things.
iPad 2. That's kind of where it really exploded.
I had an iPad 1 for work.
I mean the iPod Megamax?
Yeah, Megamax Pro iPod.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking this is not actually that useful. Like, it's super cool. And I remember having all kinds of Ender's Game, callbacks in my head of it's just like the glass pad or whatever that they had in that. And I remember thinking it's a shame they call it a pad, but this is straight out of Ender's Game.
Yeah. Well, if you watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, you'll see them basically using what looks like the iPad as well.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I don't. It's been a long time since I've watched the Odyssey.
Open the pod bay doors how? I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm sorry,
Dave.
Do
that.
That red dot. Anyway.
Yeah.
But we've come a long way since then.
Absolutely.
And the fact that, most of the time people are doing, what would you say the percentage there is of an actual, a laptop is a mobile device. I'm not saying that it's not, but when I say mobile device, I'm talking about either a phone or a tablet. How much of people's everyday technology interface is with either a phone or a tablet?
That's got to be a high percentage. Of phone is probably at least 75%, I would assume.
I would definitely higher. Think, I don't think actually tablet is contributing much in that level.
No.
But when it's like, you have to lump it in.
Yep.
You know, there for a while, there wasn't a separate OS for tablets. And even now it's like, there's not really a separate OS for tablets.
And even we're really trending away.
Come at me, Apple.
From iPads.
Try to tell me that I'm wrong. You can call it iPad OS all you want. It is not that different. It is way closer to a phone than it is a laptop. And you know that you could do better.
Yep.
I said it.
They just need to complete the merger of Mac OS and the mobile OS, or pick one.
Yeah. To me, it's not even like, I don't care. I don't care if you want to make it harder for yourselves by having 3 different OSs that you're updating all the time, but iPad OS should be more like Mac OS than it is. There is no reason not to.
Yeah.
And every reason that you've given for not doing it is not real. Like that's either lack of creativity or just lying to yourself.
Yep.
You want to put this big chip in these iPads, make them usable.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of gotten almost comical to their approach to hardware.
I mean,
it's okay. Which M series chip do you want?
Yeah.
And which form factor would you like me to stick it in?
Right.
Because I mean, if I get a M1 based iPad and I have an M1 based MacBook and I have an M1 based, no, I'm talking an older chip, but I get an M1 based Mac Mini.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same processor. Now, granted, in a iPad, it's not going to have as much memory available as they'll put in a laptop or the Mac Mini, or even in the iMac for that matter. But it's still the same chip.
Yeah,
and so it really comes down to: do you want your processor to have a screen or not?
But that memory sharing, like, it's just not like it's not fair.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're just, I mean, it's just so limited. It just drives me crazy. I don't need it to, I'm not saying that you shouldn't tell people that this is what you need to be doing all of your video editing on or anything like that. I'm saying make this more usable. And you're putting a stinking keyboard and a trackpad on it now.
Pretty much.
So I don't know.
I don't know why they even maintain the A series chip anymore.
Oh, I mean, just
make it all.
That's got to be because they have more of them than they.
I guess. I mean, to me, at this point, where they're at, you other than maybe struggle for battery life on the phone, you could put that M1 in the next iPhone.
Yeah, Tim Cook is a supply chain guy at his roots. I feel like there's some efficiency that he's going for,
perhaps,
in some of it that I don't. Again, as the consumer, I don't appreciate it. But this is, I mean, you know, this isn't just an Apple thing at all. The idea that it's cross-platform in terms of any of these, you know, you got Android and Windows and
you can bring
Linux.
You can bring Linux into MDM as well.
All of that is fantastic.
Yes.
And now we're talking about, as I said, the stick and the carrot is the, I mean, the analogy speaks for itself, I feel like, but in this, you know, world, you've got the carrot, and basically the stick is, or I'll take it away from you.
Yes.
The carrot being access to all the things, your Wi-Fi credentials, your corporate data, and access to your files, and you know, your personal, what is it, the U folder, the U drive.
At Pineco, we used to use the U drive. Yeah,
U drive.
It's kind of a personal drive, but like on Windows, although I think the concept is all just about gone now. My folder.
My folder.
Now it's kind of become the documents folder.
The documents folder.
It's kind of become an archaic way of storing now.
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Well, I'll just put it in iCloud." I'm like,
No,
that's your stuff.
Yes,
I'm talking about the stuff that doesn't belong to you. Well, it's all belong. No, none of that belongs to you.
Yep. That is something that we are in the middle of. I say fighting. Fighting's maybe not the best term. More about still educating staff on. This is Pine Cove's data.
Yeah.
This is Pine Cove's resource.
Yeah.
You can't have this in a personal account.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many people who have come and gone, and I guarantee at a minimum they have Pine Cove data, whether it's in their Dropbox, their Evernote, whatever it may be. And there's probably a reasonable percentage of it is truly sensitive data that should not be out there.
No.
But we have no way of knowing.
No.
Because back then we didn't have as many of the tools to try to lock it down, to prevent it. We still technically don't have all the tools for that. We're getting better. We're able to control it more, but it's really become about education. You can't do this. This is not yours. You can't think of this as me and mine. You have to think about this as the organization as a whole. And it'll stay an ongoing battle.
Well, I think because of how personal technology has become, it is not intuitive anymore to this generation that's grown up with phones.
I blame Apple.
I don't think that you're wrong.
No, and let me be clear for those of you out there listening in Radio Land.
Those of you that haven't heard this spiel, I'll let Kris take it for the next 15 minutes.
Those of you that no, those of you that don't know me, Apple makes a good product. I'm not going to deny that at all. They make a solid product, but it is made for the individual. It's made for the consumer,
the end user.
It's not made for corporations and businesses. And they're very
specific about that.
Yes, they are.
Like, you have to listen to them now, because now they just kind of assume that theirs is the right way and that, everybody agrees with them. And I think it's not that everybody agrees with them. It's that nobody makes that distinction anymore.
Correct.
But you got to understand, whenever they made this distinction originally, it was very different.
Yes. Yes. So
go ahead.
In the IT world, we have to jump through a bunch of extra hoops to make Apple products work in business, to work in the corporation. And
to try to convince the product that the person who's using it doesn't own it.
Correct. It's very much the old joke of, I'm trying to get the Apple device to do what I want to do while it does what it wants to do.
Yeah, what it thinks that you should want it to do.
Yes. It's like, I'm not telling you to do this over here, but if you would like to do this and I'll tell you I don't want it, maybe you'll do it. Because if I expressly tell you what I want, I know you're not going to do it.
No, that sounds right. But that, like, the difference between the end user being the buck stopping there.
Yes.
There's an element of it where I almost feel like they're also now just being straight up dishonest about things in that sense, because they know people don't know.
No.
And they know people aren't reading, and they just...
No one reads the documentation.
Oh my gosh. Like the idea that they really did just do a complete bait and switch with, like, oh no, like we'll make it easier for you. All of your music will be available, and all of the music you want will be available, and it'll all just be... And all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. That says that I don't own it anymore. Like, they're going to use the other, like, I don't, no, you still own, like, no, I don't.
No.
Where'd it go?
You essentially bought a license to that music or to that movie.
For as long as you pay for it.
Well, and until they decide to pull it too.
And until they decide to pull it.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was the thing, is I think originally whenever I, signed up for, I don't think it was even Apple Music at that point. Was it Apple Music? What did they call it at the very beginning?
It was all iTunes.
Match.
Oh, the iTunes Match.
iTunes Match.
Yes.
When they did that originally, it was, all of the music that you own will be available everywhere, and then all of the music, and we will give you a better copy of it. We'll allow you to use a better copy of it than the one that you actually own, because we have that in our servers. And then the copies of music that you have that we don't have, that'll be available too across all of your devices, and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, these are all protected, like, file types.
Yep.
I need my music.
Yep.
What happened?
Fished in.
Oh. Painful.
So, and of course, what they didn't realize that there were people like me who were out there ripping it at such ridiculously high quality.
Yeah.
And then I get their version of it, and I'm like,
no, this isn't good.
Where's the fidelity?
What happened? Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you, Apple.
Fighting some hardware over here. But anyway, all of that to say, I think because of their, like you said, they make a solid product, and because of the widespread adoption of it, there's a lot of things that new technology users don't realize has been like this road is paved for a reason.
Yeah.
You didn't just happen upon a paved road. Like, all of this infrastructure and all of this, diligence towards certain things are like, they're laid by actual people. And you've got IT professionals now that are saying like, oh, you can't do that. And they're like, yes, I can. And you're like, I understand that you can, we can't.
Yep.
Like the company that you work for is not allowed to do that. If you want to buy your own computer, you can do that.
Yep.
And do it however you want.
Yep.
We're not allowed to do it the way that you're proposing. And I got into that so many times at camp, and less now at the church, because I just have less people that I have to like persuade of that.
Sure.
But oh no, you can't just plug your phone in and play me. But you don't have the music that I want. I was like, I don't care.
Yep.
Like that's not.
If it's not there, you don't need to play it.
Please don't do that. That's not how this works.
Yep.
But then again, I didn't read the EULA.
True.
Anyway, so mobile device management. What else do we get with mobile device management? I think we've only mentioned a few things.
Well, the at the core and essence of it, compared to when we didn't have it, is I configure it once, and then I just push it to the device. Mm-hmm. And I still very much remember the days of no MDM. All right, I'm configure this device. Here's your device. Oh, this device is unconfigured. Let me configure this device. Okay, here's your device. And you literally had to repeat that process over and over and over and over, depending upon how many devices. So just the fact that I create the policy once, I test it, it's great. I can apply it to every device that we own that needs it, and it's done. It's mischief managed. It's all over. So I mean, you can go as simple as you want as, yes, it's managed, and I'll push you some of the applications if you need them. But for the most part, the device is open. You can kind of do what you want, all the way to the extreme of, no, you're locked down. You're either in a single app kiosk, and that's all you get, because that's all it's needed for. Or you get into the concepts of you're locked down into a multi-app kiosk, right, but you only are going to have maybe the 4 or 5 applications that I put on that screen. Yeah. That's it. You can't change the order. You can't remove. It is purpose built for what you need. And then there's obviously a whole bunch of variations there in between. You can get into, you can control updates. That's kind of nice.
So I would say controlling updates is kind of nice. Having an update server that everything is pulling from is super nice. And that's probably only nice for like IT guys.
Well, we are
but the idea that it's like, oh no, like when they're on property, we don't pull it from the internet. We have this.
We're actually having an open debate right now at work within our department on how useful is the caching server.
I mean, it depends on your data flow, I guess.
Because for us, we kind of perceive there are maybe 2 times a year that it makes sense, and the rest of the time it's kind of meh. So when a brand new operating system comes out,
well, I would say when you release a brand new operating system to be downloaded by everyone, whether that's in policy, your management, or when it actually comes out.
Yeah.
Because then there's just a ton of downloading it.
Correct. So for us, it's that scenario. And now this is unique to us. This isn't necessarily everybody. And it is once in the spring per physical location. So like we were just in Central Texas.
Yeah.
And we updated every single Mac on property.
Yeah.
It was nice to have. But out of those 2 scenarios, nothing's happening. It's not serving anything.
You've got fiber running to all of your locations.
We do.
Yeah, we don't. We don't have fiber in here. So the fact that it, on
but you're gig everywhere, with the exception of Wi-Fi.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is internally we're gig everywhere, and we're fighting a small hose most of the time on the other side.
Your download is actually bigger than our download.
Really?
Yeah, our maximum download right now is 250.
It doesn't act like it on a regular basis.
Well, but you're also talking about dedicated fiber internet versus shared medium that is a cable modem.
Yeah, and it's just unreliable. What do you call it? Oh my gosh. The speed, but we can just say optimum. Optimum is not reliable. It's not the speed though. It's the
throughput.
Throughput is not.
Well, I will be able to tell you very soon how good their fiber product is. It just went live for us today at the Bluffs.
Okay.
So it's going to be a dedicated connection.
How does the Bluffs have fiber and we're not able to get fiber?
You got to talk to their engineers. So literally just got installed today, and it'll be functional this summer for Ranch Timbers Bluff Shores in the med shed, so they don't have to ride the bridge.
Why don't y'all just come over here and office out of here for a little bit, and then I bet they'll make it happen.
We've just been fortunate.
Yeah, we'll call it fortunate. You've been working there for a long time.
Yes, and we've also been knocking on that door for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And I'm sure eventually we became the squeaky wheel, so we got the grease in order to get them to finally come do it, so we would be quiet. Because there definitely is some benefit to, you keep knocking on that door and you keep knocking on that door, and finally they go, if you'll just give these guys what they want, they will shut up and leave us alone.
Yeah, they'll stop talking to us.
Yeah, and we'll just get their money.
We like their money. We don't like their voices.
Yes, everyone wants our money.
I mean, that's pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was burning up.
That's okay.
Anyway, that's what I think the internal update server is good for.
Yep.
I just got a lot of people that all of a sudden are like hammering the network. And I'm going, I would really like for that to just be my internal network, because I have way more faith in it than what goes out of here.
I guess kind of what we've been looking at, and even when we were running an internal Windows update server, and looking at what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you're getting a lot of updates internally, and you are approving it, and it's going out.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost became, at times it felt like it became hard to quantify the benefit. When our internet connections were smaller, it was easy to say, yes, this is a win. Yes, we have to have this. But as we over time have been able to increase our bandwidth, and bandwidth has gotten so cheap, it's become harder to, at times, to feel like we can justify the update server. So a great example, when we went to Jump Cloud, we no longer have Windows update servers. And so everything is coming direct to those PCs, but we haven't felt a hit on our internet connection for those updates.
It's good to know.
So that's why we're having this internal discussion with Mac and going, yes, when we say, hey, you can now download Sequoia, as we called it. We like to have fun names.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So
not Sequoia.
Yes, you can have Sequoia now. Sequoia. So there was a benefit, obviously, initially, because everybody's like, "Oh, great, download." And it's like, whoa, hold up. And then when we go and we have to run a bunch of updates right before summer, it's huge. But so what we actually are looking at is, instead of having a dedicated caching server, we might periodically grab a device and go, hey, you're a caching server right now. You're going to handle this load for us. And then when we're done, we're going to turn you off.
That's a good idea.
Because the need for you is gone.
It's very limited, like in time.
Correct. Yeah. So like when we were doing updates down there, hey, iMac, you're not doing anything right now, but you're going to stay on and you're going to download this update anyways. You are now the caching server for this camp.
But even the ability to do that, what you just said, is part of what we're talking about here, is tied to the idea that this is not just a random person's device that you're connecting to.
Yeah.
It is a device that's owned and managed by Pine Cove.
Correct. So the one thing that we definitely don't do is we don't do caching of iCloud.
No.
Because we do not want anybody's personal data.
No.
Again, this is kind of the flip side of this. We're like, hey, no, that's corporate data. You can't have that.
No.
And on the flip, we're personal. This is personal data. We're not going to touch that.
No.
So we don't cache anything related to iCloud, just so we know that we're not caching somebody's personal data.
Man, and that's the other part of this that's been such a nightmare in terms of personal versus corporate, is the cloud availability to the end user. And the like normalcy of that is like it's great. You know, there's an element of you love it when people are competent and that they understand what you mean when you say the cloud, or you know, I don't know, whatever. But like, there's the other side of it that's like you're dangerous with that knowledge. You don't actually know what you're doing.
Correct.
The idea that, you know, somebody's like, well, I just have that saved over here, and I was like, that's your personal drive, and they were like, that's iCloud. That's for like your Apple ID is signed into that, not the church's.
Yep.
And they were like, well, I don't have a church Apple ID. I was like, yeah, that's right, because the church does not do that. Like, we're not going to provide. Do you remember all of the Apple IDs? Like, I had a spreadsheet.
We still have the spreadsheet.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't know if that spreadsheet is still.
Yes, no, hundreds. No, actually, every now and then we have a need to pull one of those out.
Yeah.
Because those don't have 2-factor turned on.
Nice.
And so you can leverage one real quick. Yeah. Hey, I don't want this to have 2-factor.
Yeah.
Now, eventually they're going to grandfather all that, or they're going to remove that grandfather, and you're going to be stuck. But for now, we pull one of those out every now and then.
Man.
Yeah.
The number of Apple IDs that I created, it's
a ton.
And you had to go in individually, and they would only let you, there for a while, it was like they would only let you do a certain number a day.
Well, they still have some of those restrictions.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if that's still a thing, but I remember being like,
yep.
Are you kidding me? I'm having to do this for 20 iPads.
Well, even if you just
I can only do 5 at a time.
If you do something as simple as just looking up the warranty state of your device, once you do number 4, you're stopped for a while.
They're like,
and it's like, all I'm doing is looking up warranty information.
No.
What are you doing?
Nobody owns that many iPads. I remember thinking that with the device limits.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, they're thinking like a normal guy.
Yeah.
This is the like end user. No normal end user is going to have this many iPads. Correct. Nobody's
Again,
that rich.
It comes back to they're not thinking about business. They're designed around the individual.
I'm like, listen, actually, I am very wealthy. And I like to have one in every toilet of my 23 toilet abode. There you go, yes. I would like for all of them to be synced to the same thing. Can you do that for me, Apple?
You can have 5 computers and what was it? It used to be 5 computers max and 10 devices?
Yeah, that's what it was. 5 computers, 10 devices.
Once you hit number 6 or number 11, sorry.
And it's still, like, it is still 5 computers.
Oh, yeah.
I remember being like, actually, I am getting close to that with
when you bring your kids into the equation. Yeah,
you bring your kids into the equation. You have a few like work computers that you work from. I've got like 3 different computers at work that I'd have to jump between for different reasons. And it's like, I can't not have the stuff that I need.
Correct.
I just got to, leverage the old AirDrop.
There you go. That's the fancy version of the poor man's sneaker net.
Yes.
Sneaker net. Yes. There's an old reference for y'all. So the emerging market for me for mobile device management is SaaS management. So that that agent on that device is monitoring all these SaaS services that you're using, and it's reporting back. And you can say, "Yes, I approve that." No, you can't do that. Yeah, that to me now, you don't have to necessarily just get that for MDM, right? But it makes the most sense that it would come from your MDM provider. That they're going to give you that ability to control that.
Well, I mean, I like that. We talk about Ubiquity a lot. Ubiquity is leveraging it also for just physical location stuff that their push for, hey, use us as an MDM is also tied to, you can use your device to get into your building, and you can use your device to make your phone calls, and you can use your device to charge your Tesla. I mean,
I still don't get that.
It's fine. You don't have to. We don't live where they live. But that like the idea being like, no, like we can make the carrot look really good.
Yep.
You don't like carrying a keychain, like a fob? Well, just put it on your phone.
Yep.
You have to enroll in MDM.
Digital fob.
Yep. I'll let you onto the elevator or whatever their new
Digifob.
You can see who's at the front door. I need access to your device.
Yes.
I'm here to talk to you about your car's warranty.
Yes. Your car's been talking to our system lately, and it sounds like you're mistreating your vehicle. We need to talk.
We need to talk about your extended warranty.
I've kind of been surprised that Unify hasn't announced the end of the Tesla charger because of all the shenanigans. I'm not going to try to go too far into that realm, but Tesla is not the golden company anymore.
Oh, no. It's so for these people.
I've kind of been watching and waiting and going, is that device about to become end of life?
It would be very interesting to me if never mind. Like, it's one of those things that I mean, most of the people that were pushing for everybody driving electric vehicles didn't understand a lot of the consequences to what they were talking about anyway.
Yep.
But it's now to the point where, because they bought in so hard to Tesla before, it's one of those like, do you realize what you're trying to shut down now?
Yep.
Because I don't care.
It's a good time to buy a used Tesla.
Man.
People are trying to get rid of them like crazy.
All over the place.
Yeah.
And in Tyler, it's not like we're a big, EV market anyway. And there were a ton of those trucks sitting around in the lot.
Yes.
Which my son, my sons were both like incredibly infatuated with the Tesla because, they go to school and people talk about things like this. Dad, did you know it's like one of the safest vehicles that's ever, been made or something like that. I was like, well, I guess that depends on what you mean by that.
Let's talk about lithium batteries.
Yeah, I don't.
A ticking time bomb under your hind.
I'm not saying a combustion engine has never exploded by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know. I know that they made some Hummers there for a little while that were, pretty unflippable unless you fired an IED at it. And,
True.
They were also, had body armor on them, and my son was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah,
military vehicle.
It's a military vehicle that then was, able to be purchased by normal consumers." Anyway,
somebody got smart and said, "Hey, we're missing a market here."
Yeah, we could sell these for like a lot of money. Anyway,
yep.
People will overpay for this bad boy in a heartbeat.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I said that one line to him, and then it was like Tesla never existed. They like to point them out.
I love the idea. I love the concept. If you just need it to get you to and from work, it's a great car. But as soon as you want to take a road trip,
it's not there yet.
Forget it. The battery life is just not there. So.
Which is fine. Like, again, like it didn't, we don't need everything to be everything for everything. But, and if what you're worried about people being able to use is, that type of vehicle, but the idea that everybody has to own two vehicles because they may need to go further than Dallas.
Yes.
Is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's crazy that we made it from mobile device management.
We also live in Texas.
To Tesla.
How did we do that?
Via Unified.
Via Unified.
There is a real connection here, folks. We're not just going off in the weeds.
I mean, your Tesla did have the digital or the key fob for the car as like a, not a. What do they call the transmitters in the fobs for the most of the cars that are out there? Anyway, they had the like actual NFC chip that was communicating with the car and saying, "This is me."
I guess I just always thought of it as just a fob or a key fob.
Anyway, yeah. Somehow we've talked about a lot of different things.
We have. And we didn't even really talk a lot about too many specific mobile device companies that are out there.
That's true. I mean,
so
AirWatch, which is not out there anymore, but was bought by...
We didn't even talk about Jamf.
We didn't talk about Jamf.
If you
talked about Jump
Cloud.
And
Unify. So yeah, if you live in Apple world, you really need to be looking at Jamf.
Which is, Yep.
Now, changes a little bit if you're trying to consolidate your authentication. Mm-hmm. That's where something like a Jump Cloud becomes incredible because they are your replacement for Active Directory or whatever local authentication, whatever you've been doing. And they happen to have an MDM product that they offer that's baked in.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like single sign-on, right? They're doing...
single sign-on is a part of what they offer.
Yeah.
Two-factor is a part of what they offer.
For those of you that hate login information, single sign-on is what you need to be looking at.
It can be nice, but it just becomes that much more important to have two-factor and to strengthen your passwords.
For those of you that don't know what he means by strengthen your passwords, I'm going to have a little anecdote here for you. I was explaining to a lady that I was trying to remember a password and then just gave up on it and started trying to look up on my... not too shabby. I was just looking up than like what the password was. I needed to stop trying to remember it. And I was like, I just have too many passwords and they're all very complicated.
Yep.
And she was like, oh, you need my password solution. And I was like, oh, you have like an app? She was like, no, it's the way I like come up with passwords. And I said, you're the problem. To like the nicest lady. I don't have anything against her, but like the fact that you just like tried to explain to me that you have a password that is not the, like you're saying that you don't use the same password, but you have a password like system.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Yep.
Like that's not good.
My only complaint with the password manager since I've embraced it, is that I've become so dependent upon it.
So dependent.
I can't remember my password.
Oh
anymore.
my gosh!
I used to be able to be like, oh, no big deal. I'm in.
But I mean,
and now it's like,
Kris, the number of things that I have to log into is insane.
Yeah, but I'm realizing it was actually good exercise for my brain.
Yeah, I just can't keep doing 20-letter passwords with very different thoughts behind them every time and then remembering what they are and then changing them.
That's why you choose a phrase.
Yeah.
A fairly long phrase, and then you can pick where you want to put numbers, special characters, and it's much easier to keep up than just trying to grab some randomness.
No, I mean, I was trying not to give it away too much. But like the fairly long phrase that's not repeating the fairly long phrase or repeating the password over and over and over again then becomes the same type of like shell game, especially when I've only got 5 attempts before it locks me out. Oh no.
True.
So I have to like, I just don't have the brain power for, I was looking the other day. I think I had like 97 passwords in mine. Thing, but I've also got some of Lori's. Like, man, it's a complicated world.
You're not using a company-specific password manager for your work and personal for personal. Is that what I'm hearing? Are you in violation?
Oof! Just got called out. We're going to end this podcast.
Yeah, on that note.
On that note.
We'll catch y'all in 2 weeks.
I got some work to do.
Well, I can help. I can help you fix that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a jump cloud evangelist.
But you kind of are.
You can get, for free, manage up to 10 devices. And the beauty of the free is you get all the features. And Password Manager is one of the features. So
you put it on all your personal.
Correct. So I use my Jump Cloud Password Manager on my phone for personal. But when I left my work computer at work and I'm at home and I can't remember a password, I'm like, oh, personal phone, personal passwords. I guess I'll have to do that when I get to work tomorrow because I can't remember the password anymore.
Isn't that nice?
Yes and no.
I just mean...
Thankfully, it's never come to the point where it's like, well, I guess I'm going to the office because this is critical and it has to happen now.
Yeah, this is also, I would say, one of those differences between generations that it's much harder for us to like stop once we get started on something like that. And I think the next generation and the one after it especially are much more like, oh, no, that's my personal time. Whatever, man.
Yeah. So
I got work to do.
Yes.
Get out of my way.
So, but there are a lot of great MDM solutions out there. Xnode, I've used it. I can recommend that. Jump Cloud, as we've talked about, Jamp. AirWatch, as we talked about, has kind of been rolled into VMware. Meraki's System Manager.
Oh my goodness, Meraki.
That's a good one, especially if you leverage Meraki hardware. When you get into their Sentry policies, when you can integrate your switches and your access points into your MDM, really amazing things can happen. If you're totally locked into Microsoft, you're probably going to want to leverage Intune.
Okay.
So, because that's Microsoft's MDM.
Okay.
And right now, I really wish Microsoft would change this. So for those of you who've never done MDM with Apple, they have what's called Apple Business Manager. Yeah. And I go buy their products from a Apple certified partner.
Yes, it has to be a partner.
Correct. You can't just buy it from Best Buy and expect this to work.
Or Amazon.
Correct. Yes. I give them yes. I give them our Business Manager ID. That device shows up in Business Manager, which will kick it immediately to my MDM server, and I can totally set it up. Well, Microsoft has their version of it, but they hold on to it uniquely for Intune.
Nice.
And I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep you locked into their product, but I really hope that eventually they go, hey, the writing's on the wall. We need to open this up.
Yeah.
And then we can bring a really nice solution to other mobile device platforms for Windows.
Yeah. One of these days.
But there's a ton of them out there. Different ranging in pricing depending upon what your budget is. Mm-hmm. If you're getting into Android and Chromebook, Google obviously has their own. And if you're in either the nonprofit package or if you're paying for one of the business packages, it's going to be baked in. Yeah. And so if that's what you're really leveraging, you take advantage of it.
For sure.
So Google's isn't as pretty as some of the other options that are out there, but it gets the job done.
Yeah. You say it's pretty, and I think it's functional. But
yeah, it's the Google solution is very much engineers came up with these things and some engineers / a little bit of UI guys were like, well, we'll clean this up a little bit. But they definitely did not have dedicated GUI people developing what you're doing.
No. I got some best practices they missed, which they nail on so many things. So yes. It's a little bit jarring. So, anyway.
But ultimately, if you are managing, I would say more than 20, maybe 30 devices at the most.
Yeah,
you really need to be thinking MDM. It's life-changing.
I was going to go much fewer than that. I think that it's life-changing for anybody who's managing somebody else's device.
Correct.
It's life-changing. It's an important thing.
Yep.
You just got to convince people who are in charge of the money that it's worth it.
Yep. You got to give me the money. I have to spend it. And yes, it comes every month. It's not a one and done.
Man. Every time.
Yep.
Anyway. Hey, good to talk to you.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Thanks for hanging out. That was good beer. You are the man.
Yeah, I'm going to finish the second mug.
Yeah. Yep.
Waste not, want not.
Sitting here for a while longer.
That's okay.
All right.
See you.
See you.
Thank you so much for joining us.